Having decided to open a bookshop, we came and looked at this unit in July 2022. It had been an estate agent's before we were in here. It had carpet on the floor, lots of radiators, and we needed to strip that out. So we took everything out. We took out the carpet, radiators got moved because we needed to put in bookcases on every inch of wall we had. So the initial part of the design was to look at how many bookcases we could put in, what shape they would need to be to maximise the sort of the book space. We bought lots of bookcases, built bookcases, put them on the walls. At that point we started to have what felt physically like a shop, but really the thing missing was then the actual books and the merchandise that was going to go in here.
I never thought it would be quite so tricky to choose books for a bookshop. I think naturally you try and go with books that you know and love, but also you have to remember that you're trying to stock a bookshop for lots of different people and people that you don't know what they like either. So it's quite a challenge, and I don't think I had ever realised that there were quite so many books published in the world. And also thought that when you set up a bookshop there might be somebody somewhere that had prepared a list of these are the books you need to stock a bookshop, but there is no such list. And I think probably because every independent bookshop is different and obviously caters for the people that come into their shop, but that's quite tricky when you haven't yet had any customers. So the first thing really that we needed to do was we decided how many books we could fit on the bookshelf, which was a sort of mathematical exercise in literally measuring the bookshelves, working out how many paperback books would fit on a bookshelf, and then timesing that by the number of bookcases that we had been able to put into the shop. And then it was trying to decide which genre of books we were going to stock and how many of each, because obviously we're limited by space, and obviously again because you don't know your customers at that point, you don't know what they're interested in, so you have to take a bit of a punt really and hope for the best. And then once that was decided-ish, it was then literally a matter of trawling through books and books and books and finding what, you know, we hoped was a mixture of sort of current titles and some sort of titles that you think you probably should have in a bookshop, and just titles that we thought people might be interested in. Obviously most individuals have a sort of selection of genre that they read, and it's quite tricky to choose books that you don't necessarily read a lot of. So in that case we were looking sort of at the bestseller type books, but also just I think books that looked interesting to us and hoped that other people would like them too. It was an enjoyable part of the process, but took quite a long time, and I think for me it was one of the things that I worried most about, was that had I chosen the right books to stock the shop with, because obviously you hope you have, but you don't actually know until you open the doors. With regard to the merchandising, we were trying to be as sustainable as possible, so we thought quite hard about what we could keep in the shop. We didn't have a huge amount of space for other things, so we looked quite carefully at what we wanted to choose and tried to choose cards and gift wrap and, you know, the few toys and things that we have that are sustainable and a little bit different, something that perhaps nobody else in the town offered. And you know, so far everybody's been very lovely, and we've had some really lovely comments from customers about, you know, the range of books that we offer. And I think one of the great things about being an independent bookshop is that in some ways it's a bit of a double-edged sword. You're limited by the space that you have, but also it gives you an opportunity to stock different things, and your stock is always changing. So hopefully, you know, our stock doesn't sit still. It's something that, you know, we can change quite frequently, and hopefully when people come in there's always something different for them to look at.